What is up, everybody? This is your boy AJTRIP. And we're gonna react to Shoot, a weekly episodic show where I talk about what's going on in the world of professional wrestling. And this week, it's been a big week. Two huge stories that we're just gonna jump right into. We're not gonna deal with some of the minor stories. Money in the Bank was good. New Raw Women's Champion. Yada yada yada. Nick Gage on AEW. Yada yada yada. All that stuff. But this was the two biggest stories of the week, and we're gonna jump right into it. Let's start with the Daniel Bryan news, because that seems to be more concrete than anything. Daniel Bryan reportedly has signed with AEW. Ringside News had this story the other day. I'm gonna read right from their website, and then give you my thoughts on this. Daniel Bryan, now Bryan Danielson, allowed his WWE contract to expire, and now he is a free agent. Since his WWE contract expired, he is free to sign anywhere he wishes without a 90-day non-compete clause in place. It appears that it's already happened. Vince McMahon removed him from any future plans when it comes to merchandising and marketing. The general idea is that Bryan Danielson is likely going to AEW. A new report has confirmed that to be the case. Bryan Danielson has been enjoying his vacation away from pro wrestling, but he's not going to stay away from long. After a lot of fan speculation, BodySlam.net has confirmed that the Bearded Goat inked a deal with All Elite Wrestling. This also reported that Bryan Danielson wanted to work less dates for the same money. He also wanted the ability to work in Japan and have his input on his character. He was granted all of those requests. AEW is picking up some big momentum as live fans return. I'll stop here for a second. I did a video a couple weeks ago talking about with the fans coming back. Their viewership had dripped during the NBA playoffs when they went to Friday and Saturday. So with their fans come back, and gradually the fans have come back. They had gradually come back. They was over 1 million last week, and then this one they were over 1.1 million this week. So the fans have seemingly come back to AEW. Let's continue. Tony Khan has also hinted that the company has some big signings, and some of them aren't even known about yet. They just brought in Malachi Black and Andre El Idolo in recent memory. This also joins the rumor that CM Punk is interested in joining them. We'll talk about that in a second. We will continue monitoring this ongoing story in case more information is made available. It wouldn't be a big surprise to see Bryan Danielson appear in AEW soon enough. So that is again from Ringside News, their website. My thought on this is that, I think that, from a personal standpoint of Bryan Danielson's, feelings, it's probably what is best for him. Because he's not going to do what he probably would want to do in WWE. Because right now it's it's not really that way. It's really about Vince and what Vince wants and what Vince deems best for the company. And 75 to 85% of the time, Vince is right on. He misses it sometimes as well, but most of the time he is right on. So he's probably not going to want to do the character. And I also think for Daniel Bryan, it also gives people that he maybe hasn't worked with in a long time or hasn't worked with at all. Guys like Hangman Page, guys like Kenny Omega, guys like Ricky Starks, young guys like that. And so he wants to do that. Also, like he said in the thing, he gets to go to New Japan Pro Wrestling and work with those guys over there. Slammiversary, Switchblade Jay White showed up on Slammiversary. From being from New Japan Pro Wrestling, you can go there and wrestle with Switchblade. You can go over there when what's his face gets healthy, Rick Ospreay. What's his name? Rick Ospreay. I feel like I'm saying Will Ospreay. I thought I had that wrong. Will Ospreay. You could wrestle him in New Japan Pro Wrestling if he stays. There's been some rumors that he may not stay. He may go back over with the British team with his neck injury. Maybe even join NXT UK because now his significant other, B. Priestley, is in NXT UK. So it is what it is. So I think on that hand, creatively, it's going to be better for him, probably. But I think in the long run, I think he'll be if he would stay with WWE, if he signed with WWE, he would have had more money. He would have had more, spotlight on him. He would have been. He would have had some control of his character. His last year or two there, he had a lot of control over what he did. He got a match on pay-per-view with him and Drew Gulak. He got that match on pay-per-view, for him, and he did a lot of other stuff. So I think, it all depends on what you want. What you want, and I think that's really the biggest thing. If you wanna, if you want your money and you want your stardom and things like that, then you go to WWE. That's where you're gonna be, and that's where it is. If you want to have like your freedom and you want to have your creative freedom and everything like that, less dates and other things like that, then you're gonna go somewhere else. You're not gonna go to WWE. And let me also say this, having creative freedom isn't necessarily the best thing in some cases, because sometimes you need somebody to tell you, no, that shit's stupid. That's like Darby Allen. That coffin drop into the coffin was so stupid. It really was. Because when you see it and the thing breaks, you can see there are like ridges onto the side, and if he lands on those ridges and hurts his back, he is on his way to being the Dynamite Kid. He really is. He's on his way to being the Dynamite Kid. Jim Cornette gets he gets a ton of shit for shitting on today's wrestlers, but I think there's one thing he says that I totally agree with. When you do shit like that, you do shit like that because you can't get over any other way. And that's exactly what it is. And let's face it, it was like that back in the day with Mick Foley. And I love Mick Foley. We all love Mick Foley. Jim Cornette loves Mick Foley. But let's face it, doing all those crazy bumps and taking in the clothesline and taking all those ridiculous bumps and things like that was done because he was trying for a way to get over it. And so, and it's so yeah. But listen, if Daniel Bryan wants to go there, he's going to go there, and he's going to shine. I'd be very, I have not watched AEW in about maybe 2 or 3 months. I have not watched. I don't remember the last. Well, maybe the last thing I watched was Blood and Guts, so it was something. It wasn't Blood and Guts. It was something after Blood and Guts. I think it might have been the last thing I saw. The last show I saw. It was a show where Chris Jericho had like the thing on his arm, and they rode a tank in and they sprayed down the pinnacle. I think that might have been the last show I watched of AEW Dynamite. Other things have just been happening. Other things have, a combination of other things happening. The NBA playoffs started, and then they moved, and I wasn't gonna sit and watch it on Friday. Other things in my life have picked up. Other shows have come on that I wanted to see. They got summer. ABC's got the Summer Fun and Games, Big Brother. is starting. Watch Big Brother Weekend Review right here on the channel. Just if you're a Big Brother fan, as well as a wrestling fan, you're like me. And there's so much other stuff. And now we're having football. Football is getting ready to start back. You know, the Steelers are in training camps. And then the Cowboys are too, getting ready for the Hall of Fame game. So it's so, you know, I have not watched an AEW Dynamite in a long time. However, I will admit, I think, you know, there's been some talk about maybe the New York show that they are doing. The New York show that they are doing, that is maybe the show that is that where Daniel Bryan is going to make his appearance. Bryan Danielson, where he's going to make his appearance. So I may record that and then try to watch that later if it does happen. You know, anything like that. And to be honest, and to be perfectly honest with you, like I don't watch. Same thing is going down for NXT. I don't watch NXT like I've used to as well. Since they moved to Tuesday, other things are on Tuesday. The Flash is on Tuesday. You know, and then now Superman and Lois is on Tuesday. I think now, I'm not sure. But then I had to check the thing. But I actually think now because the Flash had its season finale, and Superman and Lois is taking another couple weeks off, and they're gonna come back in August. Although I think in August, what's the face is gonna come back? Stargirl. I binge watched that a couple weekends ago. That was actually fun. I like that show. So what I may do is I may go back now, unless something happens and I forget something. I may now go back to watching NXT live on Tuesdays, and then I'll catch up with the shows after NXT. Because I think I had to watch Flash live. Like you know, I'm kind of like that. So yeah, that's what I may be getting ready to do that. Get back into NXT, and again we'll see about AEW Dynamite. But yeah, Daniel Bryan reportedly signing with AEW. Gotta admit, huge get from AEW, and I'm also kind of disappointed that he decided to go to AEW. I know some people might say this might be a bad look for WWE. I don't see it that way. I see it as it's just something that could potentially harm the career of someone who is, you know, someone who is respected as Daniel Bryan. And I don't want to see that for him or for CM Punk. And now to CM Punk. Sean Ross Sapp reported a couple days ago that CM Punk had returned to training for an in-ring return, most likely with AEW, but he had been training for an in-ring return. And then once again, Ringside News, I'm going to read it right from their article, they're saying that CM Punk and AEW are talking about certain dates. Let's read it. CM Punk is interested in making a return to pro wrestling as it appears that AEW is going to be his landing pad. A lot of things are going on behind the scenes, and it wouldn't be a huge surprise to see CM Punk in AEW soon enough. Ringside News reported that CM Punk and AEW have agreed to work together, and it's considered a done deal. All that needs to do is sign the contract once they are in place. Dave Meltzer wrote on the F4W online forum to say that AEW and Punk are in talks about certain dates. That is certainly a sign that they are far enough along with the deal that they are discussing availability. It was also noted that things going on behind the scenes as far as talks about certain dates and such make me think that if this isn't signed, they have an understanding, and unless there is a blow up, it's happening. We'll have to see if CM Punk surprises fans in Chicago for All Out. it might also be very smart to have Punk debut during the Dynamite before All Out, so they can hype those precious pay-per-view buys. So, again, I think just like Daniel Bryan, I think CM Punk going to AEW is, again, it's about, you know, the creativity, freedom that AEW gives you rather than the structure of WWE. And I think that's unreal. I think that, you know, Punk made a statement the other day. He made a statement not the other day, you know, several months ago, that he was talking about that, you know, there was actually a rumor that he was interested in coming back to WWE, and Vince was the one was like, no, not with him. You know, he's the only one that he's not going to have return. You know, everybody returned after blowouts. Ultimate Warrior many times they returned. Bruno Sammartino came back to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Jeff Jarrett is a producer in the roster. It's just it's everything, right? It's everything. But it wouldn't come back for CM Punk. He wouldn't let him come back. So, and then there was like, you know, a few months ago, we're talking about WWE. He was talking about how, you know, he was spreading the same old bullshit, and this might have been when he was actually started to talk to AEW. Spreading the same old bullshit that you hear about WWE being a bad television show, and you know, and if he went there, he would just be another guy or anything like that. But first of all, I'm trying to say WWE is not a bad television show. Are there bad things on the show? Things that need to get better? Sure, they're not perfect, but they're definitely better than AEW. And the fact that, you know, and I think that's what people think. People think, you know, being structured, not having creative freedom is bad, but it isn't. It's good. You know, it's good. And like I just talked about with, you know, Darby Allin and everything like that. We didn't get to, relitigate that. But you know, he talked about how that he would just be another guy, and that's where he was wrong. Like, he would not be another guy. He's CM Punk. He's coming back. If they did come back, he would be just like any other of the part-timers. He's only coming back for big matches. He's coming back. He's coming back to face Roman Reigns. He's coming back to face Bobby Lashley. He's coming back to face Karrion Kross. He's coming back to face Brock Lesnar. He's coming back to face, you know, the marquee matchups. He's not, you know, he's not going to be out there wrestling Cedric Alexander. If he was out there wrestling Cedric Alexander, then we would have a problem. And I would come up here on this show and say, why is CM Punk on Monday Night Raw wrestling Cedric Alexander, or why is he on Survivor Series wrestling Cedric Alexander? That's not what he's here to do. So, and I think that's what they, you know, need to understand. He wouldn't just not just be another guy. So, but he's going to AEW, and you know, and it's again, I think just like with Daniel Bryan, it feels kind of shame that they feel that they feel the need to go to this, you know, other company than to be with the company that made them the star that they are. I think that's kind of sad. I think that's kind of, you know, and listen, they have every right to do what they want to do, right? They have every right to do what they want to do. They were free agents. They were not signed under contract. They did not, you know, ask for their release or anything like that, you know, and then get released, you know, like Andrade did, or anybody else. They didn't do that. You know, he just, you know, but it is sad. Both of these guys should be in WWE, where they were made, this and not AEW. And, you know, again, I keep saying, you know, this totally feels like, you know, like a thing to try to get, you know, almost makes you feel like it seems like it's like a way to make them think that WWE is, you know, is going to change their ways. That's what all of these guys do, right? You know, that's what Jericho went to, you know, AEW. That's why, you know, Big Show and Mark Henry and all these guys went to WWE. Like they went to AEW, not necessarily because AEW is better. I would hope that they're not stupid enough to think actually AEW is better than WWE. But they went there for you know, bitterness, or they went there like to prove WWE that what you're doing right now is wrong. And how can it be wrong? They have, like, you know, $3 billion contracts, $100 billion contracts. And and so I don't think anything they're doing is wrong right now. If anything, what they're doing is right on. And Tony Khan can learn a very big lesson from them. And I actually hope Tony Khan learns something from Daniel Bryan and CM Punk as they go there. Maybe to listen to them and start doing some of this other shit that they've been doing. And maybe they can get better as an organization. You know, and actually become a threat, because right now they're not a threat. They're a threat. They're a pimple on the ass of WWE. That's what they are. They're a pimple on the ass of WWE. This is just a little bit of a gnat. So as for CM Punk and who he can wrestle, I think, once again, I think it's the same things with AEW. I don't see him coming in to try to, you know, do Cody. That's something that they should stay away with. If CM Punk or Bryan Danielson comes in and the first match they wrestle is with Cody, it shows you what's wrong with AEW. This should not be Cody. Cody should be nowhere near any of them. You know, shouldn't be. You know, it's the guys like Kenny Omega. It's the guys like Andrade. It's the guys like Hangman Page, Ricky Starks. Some of the guys that have good young MJF. I can't forget MJF, especially MJF. And the guys that you know, that could be, you know, future superstars who you can build the business on the back of. You know, so although Kenny Omega should probably just be just like a, you know, if you want to try to get a great match out of him, you can, you know, you can't be bidding the thing off of Kenny Omega anymore. You just can't. I think he's proven that he is a Japan star and a Japan superstar only. He is a star here in America. He's a superstar in Japan, I guess, but here in America he's not done it. You guys just hasn't. So, but yeah, and it's gonna be also interesting to see when does Punk, if he does debut for AEW, and if it's for All Out, if it's for, you know, like the article said, maybe the Dynamite before All Out. Check to see. We're probably about 2 months away. I think it's the All Out is in September. So there's that. Okay, so the screen has froze, so I don't know how long it's frozen, but you don't need to see me for my outro. Post your comments down below. Tell me what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think about CM Punk and Daniel Bryan reportedly heading to AEW. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and as always, thank you guys so much for watching. This is your boy AJTRIP signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there, and I am out.